writing and filming again, which I shouldn't be doing. But good morning, afternoon, or evening to you on this incredibly beautiful September 2025 morning. I'm going to flip this around. Check this out. You guys ready for this? Absolutely stunning. We got some rain and thunderstorms coming, so we got to get it in while we can. We are creeping. Definitely need some coffee, and also we're going to be doing a little reminiscing today about an old restaurant. It was actually out here in Gresham. At one point they had over 500 locations. Flip this back. Well, focus this real quick, because that is amazing. Yep. The sky is beautiful. So stay tuned. I need some coffee first, for sure. I love having you guys here. It's gonna be a great day. Gresham Town Fair, the home to Kreeper Headquarters 1. Better known as Burger King. Check this out too. They're painting the Gresham Town Fair. All these shops are getting a revamp. We got Spirit Halloween over here, which is still, I don't know what color you would call it, like a, I don't know, burnt orange. It's kind of ugly. So this is looking nice. They're gonna paint it all white. And for like the last 2 or 3 days, these guys have been out here working their butts off pretty much every day. They started down here at Dick's, and they've been working every morning, making it look all nice. It's looking great, you guys. It's looking nice. Yep, they're gonna be doing all this because they've got the cones. They were cones. So this will be, probably today, all this will be a different color. One last look at the old Gresham Town Fair coloring, which, like I said, I'm not even sure what color it is, like tan or something, but the white looks way better. So I'm hoping that entices the buyers of where Spirit exists now, because they were talking about putting in that adult version of Chuck E. Cheese. So I think what they're doing is they're cleaning the place up, making it look a little bit more appealing for investors. And they've always done a great job with all the maintenance and keeping the area looking nice. So we shall see. Yeah, they started down here and only kind of got to, as you can see, where the paint stopped. So Gresham Town Fair. All right, I definitely need a coffee. BK next. All right, 2 creams, 2 sugars. Get this bean juice in me, and then we'll get to creeping. Cheers to you guys. Got the piping hot bean juice achieved here at BK. Oh, that's so dang good. And I am up and at 'em this morning, which we normally are, but especially for today, because we are going to a former RAX roast beef restaurant location. Like I said, at one point, the company had over 500 locations starting in Springfield, Ohio, back in the, I think it was in the 70s. I'll have to recheck my notes. But back in 1984, Gresham had an actual RAX roast beef restaurant. And my mom used to take me and my brother there all the time. I totally forgot about it. But where the location was now sits a bank, and on Mondays they open at 10. So I want to make sure that we don't interrupt any, business operations or anything like that. I want to be respectful to the new business that's there. But we're going to go document and do a little reminiscing about RAX roast beef. So stay tuned. We got to get going. We got some creeping to do. Just getting here to Burnside Road, Northeast Burnside. And at 1675 Northeast Burnside Road is now the WAFD, I think it's WAFD Bank, Community Bank. But back in the early 80s, all the way until about, I'd say 88, 89, maybe a little longer, this was actually the home to RAX roast beef restaurant. In fact, this also changed into a Kenny Rogers years later, which we did a video on. But yeah, this is now the home to Wafed Community Bank. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more and show you the unique structure of the old RAX roast beef restaurant. Talk a little bit more about some flyers that I found and also some other information about the company. So yeah, as I was doing a little bit more homework, I actually brought some notes with me too. But yeah, this was the home to RAX Roast Beef Restaurants, which opened in Springfield, Ohio in 1967. And by the late 80s, early 90s, RAX Roast Beef was huge. They had over 500 locations. And this location right here in Gresham, Oregon, was one I actually frequented with my mom and my brother. We would come here for lunch. My dad worked at Safeway, not too far from here. So we would go see him and then come here and meet up for lunch and get the Uncle Alligator's meal, which had the little iconic mascot, which was an alligator wearing some kind of like hillbilly kind of top hat, like a gold miner's hat. And the hamburgers were like a roast beef sandwich, kind of like an Arby's. It was good. Now the company is still operating in Ohio where they started, and also in Kentucky, with only about 5 or 6 locations left. And what got me thinking about this is I was actually watching my good friend Nate, who does a channel called That Guy Nate's YouTube channel. It's not just That Guy Nate, like it's just some random guy Nate. That's actually the name of his channel, which I'll leave links to in the description. But he actually visited one of the final operating RAX roast beef restaurants, I believe in Ohio. I think it was the original one. But yeah, their mascot, Uncle Alligator, I specifically remember coming here, and when he showed that video, I thought, man, all the feels, all the nostalgia. And like I said, founded in 1967, they had a good run. And I'm not sure if this was just like a myth that I read over the years, but I think they started out as Jack's Restaurant and then eventually changing the name to RAX Restaurant, and then finally RAX Roast Beef. And the design of the buildings were super cool. They were actually built, I think this one was actually completely refurbished when Kenny Rogers Roasters went in, but the layout and the looks of the buildings were very distinct. In fact, they almost look kind of like the old school Wendy's, the old fashioned hamburger Wendy's locations, where they had like the windows that would kind of project out. So I'm not sure who the architect was that actually built the restaurants, but I was able to find some really cool old like ads via the Oregonian back in 1984 of when this came to Gresham. They had like 4 or 5 locations within Portland and Gresham, one at Mall 205, they had one at Tannisbourne, they had one here, and then they also, I believe, had one in Beaverton. And I think Gresham, like I said, operated from the early 80s until about 88, 89, because me and my family moved out here, I think about 87, 88, and they were only open for a few years after we moved out here. So we frequented it quite often, and you can't beat the prices. It's like $1 or $2 for like a roast beef sandwich, and they also did like potatoes, you know, a very unique salad bar, and they were really good. I was surprised that, you know, I mean, I'm not surprised that the company's still around, but I'm surprised that there's not more locations and that the company didn't really have a chance to revamp and come back out to the West Coast. So a lot of good memories. I know that a lot of folks will probably remember, especially from the Midwest, getting the Uncle Alligator's meal. It came with like a little plastic, it was like a little like collectible, like almost like a Happy Meal, but it was like a little alligator cup, and it came with like a little meal or whatever, a little kid's meal. But yeah, the Oregonian did a great job about digitalizing a lot of the old, you know, documents from the Oregonian stuff. So I found a bunch of coupons and interesting photos, and I'll also show you that photo of the looks of the locations, and more specifically this one I remember looked really cool, and I'll enter those here. All right, that's gonna do it. No problem, bro. This guy was broke down right here in the parking lot too. We were trying to get his wheel off, but it won't the lug nuts won't come off, but we tried. He's got a buddy coming for him though, so good luck to you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, that's gonna do it from the old RAX restaurant. I was just telling this guy too, this was also, I think I told you guys, at Kenny Rogers Roasters. But I love their food. It was so dang good, and the nostalgia of the old restaurants. Man, those were the days. And the prices on the coupons that I were able to find online, you just don't get that kind of food anymore for that price either. So no real relics other than I did see the drive-in sign over here that says enter, and it's actually the old RAX style of what the sign looked like, and even the color. I'll show you guys. So on some of these pictures that I'll enter too, you guys can see the old RAX restaurant was the red coloring, and then if you look closely, you can see that the signage was kind of that like oblong style, not really square. So that's it. That's the old drive-in from the original RAX restaurant. The enter sign, and then there's one over here on this side too, which is more of just like the box shape. But I could tell immediately that this was from the RAX restaurant because of the design of the sign itself. Left here all these years. I wonder if the sign says actually RAX restaurant. I'm gonna look real quick. No, doesn't really have any information other than it says Heath Northwest Incorporated, and it looks like at one point it did have a date, and that's kind of what I was looking for, but over time it's rubbed off. But yeah, that's pretty dang cool. The old relics to the RAX restaurant still kicking it here. Like I said, the top of the drive-through like that with the signage, kind of that oblong shape, and if you would have looked over, you would have seen, you know, the RAX restaurant sign pretty much like right here on this side with that same style of design. Old relics of the past. Yeah, you would have seen basically like the tall RAX restaurant sign, basically where that Wafed Bank is now, the signage. I'd go over there closer, but there's actually a guy sleeping right there too. So there's a guy sleeping, there's a broke down car. It's been kind of a interesting spot to video. But yeah, here it is, the original signage from the old RAX restaurant, still kicking it. The Portland Crow marking above there, giving you guys a different perspective just from across the street. So yeah, the old location to RAX restaurant, I would love to see them come back somehow. If you guys got one in your neck of the woods, let me know. What was your favorite sandwich? I specifically remember the roast beef sandwiches, the little like slider ones, and I also definitely remember the Uncle Alligator's little meal. In fact, if I dug deep, I bet I could probably find the little plastic alligator cup. I'm not sure if they did any of the other characters. I think it was pretty much just the Uncle Alligator character. But if you guys remember any of that, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. RAX roast beef. Back creeping downtown Gresham. Yeah, a lot of good memories going to that RAX restaurant with my mom and my brother and getting lunch. And you know Mama Kreeper always spoiled us and got us the freaking alligator meal. Yep. Good old Gresham, Oregon. All right, we got some more creeping to do.
Today. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. That'll dial you into being a creeper today. You can also ring that bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. And if you did enjoy this, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Till next time, Creeper out for now. Peace. Gresham